Welcome to today's video on the Polestar Model 2. As you know, or for those watching my video for the first time today, I bought a Tesla Model 3 Performance some time ago, so I didn't want to miss the opportunity to also check out other electric vehicles, compare their driving and appearance to the Tesla, and assess the quality of their craftsmanship. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to take a test drive with the Polestar 2 through an advertisement that I happened to see on the internet. The video wasn't planned for long, but rather decided spontaneously because of an ad I saw that invited me to a test drive. Booking the test drive was just as simple as with the other manufacturer. The booking process was entirely conducted online, and in a matter of minutes I was able to schedule a test drive for the upcoming weekday. Took about 2 days from reservation to start driving after making it. In between there was also the weekend. The reception at the vehicle was flawless. I registered for a test drive at 11:15 a.m. At 11:16 a.m. there was already a Polestar staff member present at the vehicle. This minute is to blame for the fact that I stood in the wrong place. I would have had to go to the booth, which I didn't see. I stood by the vehicle, the employee quickly approached, we handled all the paperwork, then, after a short instruction, I could drive off immediately. Ordered a Polestar 2 and there were two options to choose from, single motor or dual motor, meaning two motors. I decided to go with the dual motor just to have a better comparison to the vehicle I currently own or the one I bought before. Both vehicles feel like they're in the same category. Both the Tesla Model 3 and the Polestar 2 are approximately in the same league when it comes to their size and dimensions. Although here, the first differences are already emerging. The first big difference was when I got into the vehicle. I discovered that the driver's space was slightly smaller in comparison to Tesla, and this is also due to the presence of a fairly wide center console here, which is situated between myself and the passenger. Furthermore, she also proceeds, that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here now, she moves forward here more forcefully, which also diminishes a little more at the Weinplatz, if you know what I mean. The processing is of top-notch quality inside, so there is nothing to complain about, just like in the other vehicle. The first thing that stood out is that this car has a lot less leather. It could also be because this model I'm driving right now, or this vehicle simply doesn't have it. Because the employee informed me that there are also other options to order leather seats or elsewhere. I don't have a direct comparison to another vehicle right now. Those of you who are familiar with the Model 3 know that both the seats and the door panels are made of leather. In this specific vehicle that I'm driving, the seats are made of fabric, as well as the door elements and the cockpit system. The trunk of the car can be opened with a foot movement. By opening it with a foot swipe under the car, the trunk opens. I think the trunk has about 480 liters. Well, compared to the other models, it doesn't really seem that big. But what it also has is an additional area underneath that is relatively large. This is not a place for a spare car, but definitely enough space to maybe store something else here, a few backpacks or bags. You can also close the trunk by simply moving your foot underneath. And that's how the trunk lid closes. One of the most interesting questions that arises when looking at an electric vehicle like this is, how do the panel gaps compare to other electric vehicles? Particularly when compared to the well-known American model. Let's examine Frank at this point. I think pictures speak for themselves. Furthermore, when observing from the side where the front fender connects with the hood and the door, it appears to be aesthetically pleasing and visually appealing. Well, I didn't measure it in millimeters to see how it should be, but one thing's for sure, the car looks very solid on the outside and the build quality is definitely on point. Both the rear lights and the front lights have a clearly recognizable signature that is also easily visible in the dark. That is similar to many other vehicles these days, where you can instantly determine in the darkness by the lights which model is being driven. And Frank is very tall, I didn't want to prevent him from you either. Here are the charging cables, certainly enough. He also appears to be much smaller than in the Model 3. I suppose that if you examine the liters at present, it will also be smaller. Next to it is washer fluid for refilling. What I'd be interested in is, if you go against it, where does the water flow in? In there? Well, it is what it is. If you want to open the frank, you first have to pull this lever on the side. To initiate, press a lever located inside, then proceed to the front, press that, and subsequently the frank opens. It does not open automatically, naturally. On our test vehicle, we have 20-inch rims, specifically 245/40/20, and I personally think the rims look incredibly nice and also perfectly match the car in terms of style and aesthetics. The car overall appearance looks very cohesive and harmonious. And now let's go inside the vehicle. That's the fabric insert in the door, and you'll find the exact same color in the cockpit. The seats are extremely well made and give a strong impression of being of exceptionally high quality. The material does not detract from the quality either. Additionally, you can also feel the premium quality of the Swedish car manufacturer in this vehicle. Both the back and the front of the test vehicle had ISOFIX attachments. That's extremely important for us, for example, because we still need ISOFIX. Even in this position, it is displayed and the brackets protrude slightly. You can observe them in that location. One aspect that I didn't like as much was the feel of the key. This is what the key for the Polestar 2 looks like. On the side, there are buttons for locking and unlocking, as well as for opening the trunk. On the other side, I assume there's an alarm button, but I haven't pressed it yet. In any case, the key design is simple and straightforward. Another important feature I wanted to highlight is the 360-degree view of the vehicle, which I find very clear. The display resembles an iPad, which is a familiar sight. As we continue moving forward, the image eventually disappears after a certain time. Additionally, I find the process of parking with the reverse camera to be very pleasant and convenient. Overall, I am satisfied with my experience. The vehicle displays the location where the car will be driving. However, this is not a new development at present. Nearly all vehicles that provide this feature do so these days. Nonetheless, I discovered it to be extremely enjoyable. However, it does not release you from the need to look in the mirror and assess whether you may actually be right. You observe here on the screen. On the left side, to the left of the automobile, a stele is established. That's because we're parking here now in the Polestar parking lot. And there it says specifically Polestar Test Drive, as you may see. And I believe the vehicle acknowledged that very well and indicated in a timely manner what is the next step. Now we're just parking too close to the vehicle next to us, but that's not a big deal either. We can resolve all of those issues. Once again, the function is truly excellent, but it does not liberate you from the necessity of still having to examine yourself in the mirror. And we're parked. Another highlight that I wanted to show are the frameless mirrors. So here are the mirrors, and as you can see, they actually don't have a frame. So the frame goes completely around. When you observe it from the front, there is scarcely any frame on the mirror. It certainly appears extremely classy, very pleasant. I am fond of it. The car I drove to this location also features a tremendously large glass roof. That is somewhat similar to Tesla. I really liked it as well. The glass roof is truly big and provides ample space. The question is, how is it when the sun follows, smacks in, for example, kids are sitting in the back? Another feature I liked here is this little shelf. I do not know what it is good for or if it is even a shelf, but it definitely looks interesting. So, those are the first impressions from driving the Polestar 2 dual motor. The car that I have here currently has around 408 horsepower. That is still the model year of 2022 going into 2023. It is definitely not the latest thing that is going to come now. The automobile is speedy. Well, based on the technical data, the top speed is quite impressive. The car feels nimble and handles well, providing a thrilling driving experience. When you lightly tap the gas pedal, the car accelerates very strongly. It's comparable to the Model 3, with the Polestar 2's fastest variant boasting an acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h in 4.4 seconds. Model 3 performance into the 3.3. The car I'm currently driving has an acceleration of around 5.2. In any case, the car feels extremely nimble, incredibly fast. When you lightly tap the gas pedal, he takes off like a rocket, accelerating with remarkable speed and agility. Well, the quick test drive is done. As I mentioned, we only had 45 minutes to do everything. It's a bit chaotic. During that time, I also attempted shooting. That means I couldn't drive extensively, but maybe I'll succeed another time. I thought the car was good. It was fun. Let's see how it goes. On the way home from the test drive, a few things came to mind. I wanted to share these thoughts with you. The first thing is, and this is the point or 2 points where I lack any experience, and that's where I ask for your support, or please write in the comments if you have already had experience with it. The first point is, how is the charging infrastructure? What do you use when you drive a cushion? Does Polestar have something distinctive? Did Volvo build something distinct? Or is it just that every available infrastructure is utilized for the purpose? So how does that process work then? Do you need to have multiple cards for each individual electricity provider company? I once had this experience with my Tesla where I couldn't charge it everywhere. Certain charging stations didn't work, even though I went through a very lengthy process using the app or the mobile website. With some, you had to have a card or a chip with you, or with some it worked really well. But this very diverse landscape, that's a big difference compared to what Tesla offers. At Tesla, they have their own infrastructure and you know where it is and you know that it's likely to work with a pretty high probability. Plus, it works very conveniently. You just drive up to a charging station, plug in the charger, and that's it. The rest, what it costs, etc. You can see how much you've charged in the car, probably just like the others. Check costs in portal, or if applicable in vehicle, how is it there? So, first point, how is the charging infrastructure? And regarding the second point, how is the service? I have to say, my experience with Tesla has been quite good so far, and I am satisfied with it. That means I've always been able to get an appointment promptly. I also had Tesla Rangers who came to my house and took care of certain things on the street in front of my house, which saved me a ton of time. No need to go anywhere, deal with long waits, etc. What's it like there? Is there something similar, or does it work like with any conventional car, like a Volvo, for example, or whatever? Please also write that to me. I would be very interested in it. And the third point, maybe, well, that's really subjective. The car was really solid. It also made a really solid impression, even when it comes to the exterior and build quality. Seats, comfort, adjustment options, etc. But that's just the next electric car, and as we all know, there are a lot on the market right now, so I think it's going to be increasingly difficult for the electric vehicle manufacturers to stand out with anything special. Anyway, I'm looking forward to your comments. Please write them. I'm excited to read more about it and find out what he'll see next. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to the next videos. If you have any requests to look at any other vehicles, please write it in the comments. I'm always excited to read your comments and respond to them. Otherwise, I wish you all a great day and see you soon. Bye.